Hi, welcome to Microaces Workshop. John here. A quick July news update. I've got a lot to get through, and I want to do it quite quickly because we've got a lot on at the moment. And that's basically because I am going on holiday in a few days' time. In fact, it's this Thursday. It's the first holiday that I've had for 2 or 3 years, I think. So I'm going to try and enjoy it. We're driving down to the sort of central east of France. Going to go and see some relations down there. Spend some time drinking lots of red wine and eating lots of cheese, I hope, as well. And we're quite near to Germany as well. So hopefully a bit of bratwurst as well. So that'll be good. But we're actually going to be closing down for the 10 days that I'm away. Be back on the 5th of August. So just to let you know, I'm going to be working as hard as I can. Today's actually Sunday, so I'm in here working as hard as I can to get everything out that's been ordered before I go. A little update on the little receivers, the all-in-one, the AIO receivers that we do. We've been having new stock coming in, which is fantastic. Not in huge numbers though, so those units have been used to satisfy the back orders that we've had going back some orders back to October of last year, which is awful really, but there we go. This is the situation we found ourselves in. We're up to about May now. I sent the last lot out last week, and we're having some more come in around about the time that I get back from holiday. So I'm going to start split shipping again until we catch up. The number of units that we're getting in the next batch should enable me to cover all of the residual back orders and also satisfy new orders as well. So while I'm away, if you want to get an order in that includes a receiver unit or a number of receiver units, we should be able to satisfy that once I'm back in the game after the 5th of August. So that's great news. An admission, I have made a bit of a boo-boo when processing the back orders that we had. A lot of the orders where I've split the order and the aircraft kit has gone out with most of the flight pack parts, but not the receiver. I've obviously been able to satisfy a lot of those. Unfortunately, on the report that I got off the system to tell me who to send to, I forgot to include all of those that I had partially fulfilled the order for rather than splitting out onto a separate order. So I think there are about 8 or 9 customers out there, and I have to apologise to you that they got missed. So as soon as we get the receivers in, those are the ones that are going to be going out first, and hopefully you'll be able to forgive me for my silly error. I certainly won't be making it again. So that's the news on what's happening logistically within Microaces. And as I said, next few days I'm going to be hell for leather, trying to get out as many of the kits that are on back order that have been received very recently, and I'll be split shipping unless you tell me otherwise. I'll be split shipping those if they include receivers. Okay, I want to talk Tyvek. Here is so the automatic white balance is going absolutely crazy here, but this is Tyvek. It looks like paper, but it's a. Let me just get up the information about it. What is Tyvek? It's made by a small company in the US called Dupont. It's actually something that was invented by them about over 50 years ago. I think it was 1955 it was first produced, but it's something that I've been looking at for a number of months now. In fact, I came across it first in around about 2017, and I've been looking for an excuse to try and integrate it into models, because as you will see, it's a bit like paper. It's quite a thick paper. It's lightweight and flexible. I think that's one of the most important aspects of the product. It's water resistant as well. It's tear resistant and durable, which makes it a fabulous product for model making, especially remote controlled aircraft, micro remote controlled aircraft. That the lightweight aspect of it is fantastic. It is about as in fact it is slightly lighter than the 1mm foam that we use, which is fantastic, and it accepts the print from our UV printer. You can see in the background there. Sorry, it's mirrored there. That's with the couple of bristles sitting on top of it. That is the UV printer, and it prints fantastically onto it. So I decided that the fuselage of the new Percee that I showed you last time, in the last video, this thing here, the fuselage itself would benefit greatly from using this kind of material, because it's more flexible than the 1mm foam, which means that actually applying it to curves and larger areas works really, really well. I'll show you here as an example. Here's what would be the rear deck of the Percee in the 1mm foam, and to get the curve on it, you have to go crazy. I don't know whether you can see that. You have to go crazy with the scoring on the inside to create that curve, and it's and obviously the more scoring you do, the more accurate the curve is, but you will always get these lines that actually on the smaller aircraft, and certainly the World War I aircraft, work well because you can get them to represent ribs. But on something like this would have been on a Percival Q6, which the Percee is modelled around, or influenced by, or inspired by. I believe it probably was plywood or something similar. So obviously with the Tyvek, it just curves quite naturally, and it's pretty tough as well. So I thought, let's give it a go. And not only, so I'm trying to get all the bits and pieces in order, not only can you print on it quite nicely, but it laser cuts really well as well, and you can obviously get it very accurate. Using this kind of material means that you have to adopt a more sort of a paper model approach to putting the kit together. But if you're into trying out new things, new techniques, then a perfect model to give that a go. So I've been working on the Percee. As you can see, obviously we've started a livery here. I'll just give you a quick look at what that looks like. There we go. So that's our Percee, and I've dubbed it the Militaire. Obviously, it's a military style livery that I've given it. It actually is a livery that was used on a Percival Q6. Yeah, so it obviously gives you a good orientation in the air as well, with that very yellow, very visible underside, and the camouflage on top as well. And obviously you've got the roundels and all that sort of thing. So and in fact, here's the first rough version, which I haven't completed yet, but let's have a look at that. We'll get this Militaire out of the way, and there you can see, hopefully, obviously this is the first prototype, and we've got some fit issues, which is, obviously it gets adjusted as we go along, but you get the idea. There's a little bit of tape on the back there because we've been glide testing it. Obviously we've got the nacelles on the wings there, and our fixed undercarriage, which works really well. You can see some creases and dings and dents all over it because it's been extensively glide tested, and not all of the glides went as beautifully as others. And I did video it. We'll see that in a minute. And we've got some wing fillets to add here too, and obviously the tops of the nacelles to go on there. They will be removable, so you can get to the motors. Yeah, so that's how it's looking at the moment. We've doubled the skins on the tail as well, because it's quite a substantial model. These are quite large. A single skin was just too weak. So we've doubled up on the skins. This is all the 1mm Depron. You can see, and on the wings as well. If I show you the structure of the wings, there's not a lot of internal structure in the wings itself, because the 1mm foam, which is the advantage it has over the Tyvek, is much more substantial. It's much more rigid. The sort of thing that makes it difficult to get around the curves of the fuselage makes it advantageous on the wings. The all-up weight of this aircraft at the moment is 60 grams. Yeah, 60 grams. I weighed it earlier this morning, and it's missing. The only thing it's missing is the receiver, which is about 1.5 grams, and a battery and a couple more servos. So I've allowed probably around about another 15 to 20 grams, quite a conservative estimate, on top of that. So we'll see how it goes. But it's actually produced quite a light aircraft for a twin engine. Really pleased with how it's going together. And I've also started doing a second livery for it as well. Sorry, we had a bit of a technical issue with the camera and recording, but hopefully it'll be okay now. I was going to show you the other new livery that we've got. So first of all, let's bring back the Militaire. You can see here, there we go. Excuse me. And I've also produced the Debonair. The Militaire is, as I said, it's based on the a livery that the Percival Q6 had as a military liaison and transportation aircraft in the 1930s. and so that's quite a genuine livery. But the Debonair is a little bit of a flight of fantasy, and it's something that was on my mind to do with this aircraft because of its elegant lines. I wanted to create a rather good-looking airliner, and so I thought of the Debonair. In fact, it turns out there was an airline called Debonair, but I think that was much later in the I think it was maybe the 80s, something like that. I don't think it lasted very long, but obviously served far too much champagne on board. But that's how I imagine this particular aircraft to have been for the 6 passengers it would have carried in. Just a continuous supply of champagne as you cruised through the air. But anyway, so those are the 2 liveries I think that we're going to launch with, and yeah, brilliant. Okay, let's get move those down. So I think that brings us through all of the things I wanted to talk about. As a recap, I'm off on holiday, so having a bit of a shutdown from this Thursday till the 5th of August. It's about 10 days, a little over 10 days. The receivers, the rest of them, to satisfy the rest of the orders that are outstanding, will be here on my return, fingers crossed. And I've made my admission of failure to all of those that I didn't split the orders for, and just left them as partially fulfilled. So we'll sort those out just as soon as I'm back, and we've got the receivers to satisfy them. Tyvek, I've introduced you to that, and that we are going to be using it for the first time on the Percee fuselage. I can see a lot of potential with this material because of the fact that it prints so readily, really nice. It's like paper basically, but obviously you need a UV printer to print onto it, as far as I know. And it laser cuts fantastically, which is ideal for the way that we produce our kits. Yoo-hoo Paw works perfectly on it, and so that's a great advantage too. And also it can be used like paper, and if any of you out there have seen what paper modelers can produce, especially in aviation, but with anything really, it's quite astounding. So the Percee is a great vehicle for me to learn techniques about how to assemble these parts, and it's quite a substantial aircraft, so I've got plenty to play with, and there's nothing too tough, but hopefully that'll translate as time progresses and we choose different models to actually kit. Very, very exciting. I can't express how exciting it might be. There are all sorts of things that we could get into trouble over, or involved in, I should say. So yes, so that's Tyvek, and the other thing that I wanted to say is, while I'm away, the Percee in both liveries will be available to purchase on or pre-order, I should say, on the Microaces website. There'll be a link somewhere around this video to go and have a look at that, or just obviously go to microaces.com and search the aircraft from the drop-down menu or search bar or whatever. So we'll get the Percee up onto the website, and there will be two options over and above whether you go for the militaire or the debonair, or both. You'll be able to pre-order it kit only, which is without the electronics, motor gearbox, etc. Or you'll be able to purchase it with the twin engine flight pack, which is something new, obviously, being our first twin. The flight pack will actually include, obviously, the two motors, a normal rotating and counter rotating prop, GWS 4530s. Obviously the prop adapters that allow you to position the props onto the prop shafts of the motor gearbox. We'll have four servos, and there'll be the 1.7 gram rotary arm servos, which are nice and reliable. You can see here on the aircraft itself, we've already got them installed on the wings for the ailerons, there and there. And so you've got the motors, the props, the four servos, and the twin electronic speed control receiver, which is actually only a very small unit. I think I've got one here actually. Here we go. Come on out. So that's the wee beastie there. So as you can see, it's got two ports there for the motors to plug into. It's got 4 ports there for servos, and it comes in obviously Futaba SFHSS protocol. It comes in the DSM2 DSMX protocol for Spectrum, and also the FR-Sky D8 protocol as well. So the choices for those will be on the website too. Okay, please do go and have a look at Percee on the website. There's some specifications there on it, and obviously I'll try and get the flight video, or the glide video, there we go. You can see it again. It's not a bad glide, seeing as it was quite puffy in the garden. Let's see it one more time. Go on. There we go. There we go. Nice. And just imagine that with power on. It should be a lovely, elegant flyer. Okay, we better get rid of that now. There we go. So yeah, go and have a look on the website. If you can pre-order it, that would be amazing. Obviously, it's a great way to support Microaces, and if you don't mind waiting until October for when we hope to be able to deliver the aircraft to you. I know that sometimes there are extenuating circumstances, like viruses and getting manuals written that take a little bit longer than anticipated. But yes, there we go. Thank you ever so much for watching. And I'm off to, well, not quite yet, but I'm rather looking forward to eating and drinking foreign food. I quite like cheese, and I quite like red wine, and I quite like sausages. So I'm very much looking forward to having a bit of a break with the family, and then come back refreshed to get all of those receivers, those last receivers, out to you, and really start nailing the Percee down, getting it all kitted up, and also doing some test flights and videoing them and showing you what a wonderful aircraft it truly is. Thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you on my return. Bye bye.